deep in the heart of the Transformers' homeworld, Cybertron is an object of great power, the mother computer that maintains the functions of the planet itself. More than just a machine, this spherical supercomputer is a source of vast, ancient knowledge, and serves as a conduit for the power and the will of the Transformers' god, Primus, through which it can grant new Transformers life. These are the basics on Vector Sigma. Vector Sigma first appeared in the original Transformers animated series in the 1980s, in the two-part episode, The Key to Vector Sigma. This story established that the computer predated Cybertron, and had been used to program the Transformers, Autobots and Decepticons alike, with the cybernetic personalities that made them sentient living beings.
I am Vector Sigma. Before Cybertron was, I was.
Having lain dormant within Cybertron for millions of years, its chamber protected by a legion of Centurion droids, Vector Sigma was brought back online by Megatron after he stole the computer's activation key from its guardian, the Autobot sage Alpha Trion, in order to have Vector Sigma give his new creations, the Stunticons, life. To counter these new Decepticons, the Autobots built the Aerial Bots, but with the key still in Megatron's possession, Alpha Trion had to give up his life by merging his consciousness with Vector Sigma in order to reactivate it once more, so it could bring the Aerial Bots to life. Back on Earth, Megatron discovered that the key to Vector Sigma possessed another power. It could convert organic matter into metal. Megatron set about using the key to transform Earth, but the Aerial Bots succeeded in stopping him and destroying the key. Vector Sigma would be seen again in the series finale, which was the first story to indicate that the computer had a will of its own, secretly, independently working towards the betterment of Cybertron's future.
Do not question Vector Sigma's motives. The parameters of its thought matrix are greater than you can imagine.
Temporarily merging with Vector Sigma to speak with Alpha Trion, Optimus Prime discovered that the computer had influenced those around it to set in motion a chain of events that led to the series concluding with the coming of a second golden age to Cybertron. Vector Sigma also appeared in the Japanese exclusive sequel series The Headmasters, which introduced the idea that the computer was key to the functioning of Cybertron itself. After Optimus Prime released the energy of the Matrix of Leadership, without its stabilizing influence, Vector Sigma began to destabilize, putting Cybertron at risk. To prevent the Decepticons from gaining control of the computer and through it, the planet, Optimus Prime, like Alpha Trion before him, sacrificed himself to merge with the computer and bring it under control. It would be over a decade before Vector Sigma returned to American TV screens in 1999's Beast Machines. By the time of this series, set centuries in the future, Vector Sigma had evolved, transcending physical form to become the Oracle, a huge immaterial sphere of light. Beast Machines revealed that the computer's ability to grant life was due to the fact that it was connected to the mystical, extra-dimensional afterlife realm from which all Transformer life forces came. Still working to shape the future of Cybertron in service of the will of this mystic realm, the Oracle reformatted Maximal leader Optimus Primal and his crew into techno-organic forms, flesh and metal fused at the cellular level, and charged them with reintroducing organic matter to Cybertron. To combat the Maximal's efforts, Viacom General Tankor recreated the key to Vector Sigma and used its power to transmute organics into metal against them. But Optimus managed to defeat him, after which the Oracle transferred itself into the Maximal leader, enabling him to use its reformatting ability at Cybertron's core, transforming the planet into a techno-organic paradise. The same year, Vector Sigma was also featured in the Japanese series Beast Wars Neo. Set tens of thousands of years after Beast Machines, this series depicted Vector Sigma as having ascended to become the ruler of Cybertron, considered by the planet's populace to be their god, who handed down orders via the Convoy Council that ruled under it. Throughout the series, Vector Sigma would often possess Maximal Commander Big Convoy through his Energon Matrix to share words of wisdom with Big Convoy's young troops. In the series finale, Vector Sigma was possessed by the spirit of the monster planet Unicron, who desired to take Cybertron as his new body, only to be driven out by Big Convoy's team. As the Transformers franchise has expanded in the 21st century, Vector Sigma has become a major recurring element of Transformers lore, appearing, or at least being name-dropped, in practically every major new iteration of the brand. Virtually unchanged from the original cartoon, it almost always appears as a faceted sphere, and Alpha Trion is often depicted as its guardian. However, as the complex mythology of the Transformers multiverse has grown, aspects of Vector Sigma have been reimagined in order to incorporate the computer into today's new expanded lore. Outside of the original cartoon, the Transformers god Primus has come to be depicted by most series as the creator of all Transformer life. To reconcile this with the cartoon's idea of Vector Sigma as the source of life, various sources in the early to mid-2000s revealed that the computer was actually a conduit for Primus's life-giving power, built to serve as a link between the Transformers and their god, maintaining the functions of Cybertron while he slept within the planet and acting out his will to shape its future. Every incarnation of the computer in every universe linked as part of a vast multiversal network. Japanese media has even gone one step further, depicting Vector Sigma not simply as a proxy through which Primus acts, but as the transformed body of the sleeping Primus himself, and the key to Vector Sigma as the tool through which Cybertron was created. Some of Vector Sigma's many appearances include Dreamwave Productions comic books, which established the idea that the computer's connection via the afterlife to every Transformer that had ever lived granted it a vast databank of historical information which Shockwave tried to pillage. IDW Publishing's comic books, in which Galvatron tried to taint the computer with the evil energy of the eldritch Heart of Darkness in order to turn Cybertron into a portal that would unleash the other-dimensional horror The Devoid on the cosmos. And even the mirror universe of Shattered Glass, which featured Vector Sigma's evil alternate dimension counterpart, the diamond-shaped Omega Terminus. 2 official toys of the computer have been produced, one exclusive to official convention BotCon in 2007, and one that came with the Asian release of the Masterpiece Optimus Prime figure in 2014, each with its own removable key, and a key accessory was also included with 2017's Masterpiece Megatron. But in the last decade or so, Vector Sigma's role as the source of life has largely been superseded in new media by the Allspark, another life-giving relic introduced in the live-action film series. In compensation for this, new stories have instead placed increased emphasis on Dreamwave's idea of the computer as a database of knowledge.
You have accessed the data tracks of Vector Sigma, preserved by the great historian Alpha Trion.
It was in this capacity that Vector Sigma appeared in the Transformers Prime animated series in 2012. In this series, Optimus Prime lost his memory after releasing the energy of the Matrix and the wisdom it contained in battle with Unicron. Having earlier been entrusted by Optimus with the key to Vector Sigma, it fell to human ally Jack Darby to travel to Cybertron and download that wisdom from the computer's database, which was then used to restore Optimus's memories. Vector Sigma most recently appeared in the Transformers Cyberverse cartoon. This series reincorporated the computer into the process of creating life, by depicting Vector Sigma as responsible for programming the Allspark with designs for new life forms. Seeking to reprogram the Allspark to create a new generation of Decepticons, Megatron seized control of Vector Sigma, but Optimus Prime foiled his plans by casting the Allspark out into the universe through a space bridge. After the Allspark was found on Earth, the treacherous Starscream used Vector Sigma to temporarily place its power in his control. Ultimately, to prevent the Decepticons' further misuse of the computer, the Autobots were forced to banish Vector Sigma to the void between dimensions. Before Cybertron was, Vector Sigma was. And whatever form the Transformers universe takes next, Vector Sigma will be there, shaping its future. And those are the basics on Vector Sigma. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment below and hit the like button. Subscribe for more history and lore from the world of the Transformers, and remember to click the bell to be notified about future episodes, or get early access to them by supporting the series on Patreon.